Hi, it's Wendy at the library. I'm going to be going over how to make a really cool macrame bracelet with you guys today. We're going to be sending out kits, and in your kit you'll receive a bunch of jute, no actually it's hemp cord, along with a little bag with some beads in it, and that's for just finishing off the bracelet. So I'm going to turn the camera down and let's get started. Here we go. So to begin with, you'll unravel your cord, and I want you to stretch out a piece that's 3 feet long, maybe even 4 feet if you want, but no longer than that. I went with 3 feet, and then I folded it in half so it's the same length. I folded it, and at the top of this loop, I turned it over and secured a knot right there. It's about the same length of my finger, so it's probably 3.5, 4 inches long, and we want it to be that long. And then once you do that, you need to put it on your table, and with a piece of tape from home, secure it to your tabletop. I think masking tape probably works a little bit better than Scotch. Sometimes this lets go and gets a little loose, and that's okay. But then I also take this, and at the bottom, not real tight and real flat, but I also tape this down the bottom, just so that my middle cords kind of stay in place. And then with the rest of the cording that you have, measure out and just fold it in half even, but you're going to want probably 6 to 8 feet of this. This one's a little bit shorter. I did one with 6.5, 7 feet long, and it just fit my wrist. So depending on how big of a wrist you think you have, I'd go ahead and I'd probably do 8 feet. But I want you to take this and slide it underneath your cord. This is going to be called our center cord. And I want you to slide it underneath, fold this, and make sure that your ends meet so that you're in the middle of these. There we go. And let's stretch this out and see where the middle comes up underneath here. There we go. So when you get to this point, I want you to tie one single overhanded knot right up against, right up against where this knot is. So we're going to just tie that in nice and tight. There we go. So we are ready to begin. So I'm going to actually show you a couple different knot folding techniques. I really like this twisted bracelet. It's really cool. It's very easy to make. To make one alteration as you're building it, you can end up doing a flat bracelet like this instead. So I'm going to show you both, but to get started, we're going to go with that spirally one. And this is a basic macrame knot. You take your left string and fold it to the corner here and put it right across. It almost looks like the number 4, doesn't it? We've made a triangle here, and it looks like a number 4. So I put that across there, and then I take my right string, there we go, and lift it on top of this one, and then I want to go under and out to this hole. So I'm going to put it under and out to that hole and pull it through. So it's like tying a knot, but those center strings are in the way. I'm going to tighten it right up there and pull it tight. I'm going to keep doing that. Make, a number 4. Bring my string down on top over here, and then under and up through the other side. So we come up through that other hole, pull it through, and then tighten this up. So after a while, you'll start to see that it's pushing and curving your cord as you go along. So I'm just going to do a few more. As I got used to this, I didn't make it a pointy 4 all the time. I just knew that that had to be a loop, and this one had to go over and then under all of it through the middle and up into the other hole, up into this hole over here. So once you get used to seeing how the cords have to go, it gets a little bit easier. So I'll put that down, over, under everything, up through the side. And I'm doing them over and over and over. And it's twisting my bracelet already. We go underneath. And always want to make sure that I tighten it up pretty good because we don't want any holes in our bracelet. So my cord goes over, this one goes under the middle, and up through that hole. I'm just going to do a few more so you can see over and over, and maybe this is a point that if you wanted to stop your video to make sure how it's done, you can just watch one of them over and over again. We go over and then take the whole thing and go under and up through that other side. There we go. So as you can see, my bracelet is already turning and curving, making that cool design. So you're going to go on and on and on until you're just about out of these side strings. It seems like, wow, that's a long bracelet, but if you keep measuring, I mean, we've only gone a little over a ½ inch. The last bracelet I made was 6.5 inches long, and that's a pretty small bracelet. So if you have a bigger wrist, you know, just keep going, and you might want to stop and try it out and see how it feels. I'm going to take this one off because I'm going to show you how to do the other design. It is the same technique, and I want to just show you. This is pretty basic. I used to make plant hangers with this technique. So I'm going to retape this top. Righty. And here's the bottom. We'll move it a little closer. So, this is my center strings here. They were taped down, and I'm almost out of tape. But what I did, instead of doing this design all the way, I did a 4, then it looked this way, and then the next one I do a backward 4. So this one goes like this, and the rope goes over, and then under, and up through that middle. There we go. There we go. And then I go back to doing the front ways 4. So you do one that looks like a real 4, and then a backwards 4, and a real 4, and a backwards 4. You just keep going back and forth, and that makes it so it comes out even and flat. And you can have a little bit of a hint. I'm going to get a little closer here to let you see this. Can you see how there's a bump there? That means that's the side that I do next. Wherever I see that, that's the cord that I want to take and fold over next. So this one doesn't have the bump on this side. It's underneath. I don't want to do this one next, or it'll start twisting my bracelet. So that's pretty much just go back and forth, frontwards, backwards 4. And now I'm going to show you how we finish off this bracelet. Takes a couple extra minutes, but it's very cool. I like having those little beads dangling. What we're going to do is pull these down, and I can cut some of this extra off down here at the end so they're all the same length. There we go. And then up at this top, I am going to make a special loop. As if I were going to tie a knot, I'm going to do this and pull it through. And I'm not going to tighten it right now. It's right there on the end of my bracelet. What I'm going to do is pull those tails at the other end, hold them all together, and put them up through that loop that I made. Pull them through, and there we go. When they're just about all the way up and through, then I can tighten that knot. And I'm gonna pull it tight. All right, and pull this one all the way up in. There we go. So pull this tight. Now this will slide up and down. See how those tails will slide in and out, up and down. You can make your bracelet loose and tight. Whoops, got loose one right there. We don't want them to fall back out again. So what we're going to do is put those beads on. I'm going to bring this one back down so you can see some little dangly beads. So that will prevent it from sliding back through the knot. And we put a bigger bead on this one just because we don't want that to slide through either. And I could not fit one of those teeny tiny beads on a double strand. This cord was too thick. So I'm gonna empty out my beads here. And maybe I'll do colors this time instead of just white. But I'll put my big one on first because that's right at the end here. Squeeze that together so it'll go through. There we go. Push it all the way down towards where the knot is, and then tie a knot off here. There we go. So make a knot, and then that won't come off, so I can take and trim this off now. So there's that one. And now on these longer ones, decide how long you want them to dangle off your wrist. I'll show you what these sort of look like if I can get this one on. I cut it close with this one, so I have to be careful putting it on. And then pull these through. And will show how they can dangle. So I like them dangling. I think a little bit is kind of cool. They could dangle off to the side, but you know, it's how long you want them. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I think I'm gonna leave those strings just where they are. Now I gave you a variety of these little beads because some of them, their holes are just too small to get through. The best bet is when it's still not frayed is to get some of those beads that have a wider hole on, and decide how many beads do you want to put on. I think I'd like to have at least a couple because I like to feel them on my wrist. So let's try a little red one here, see if that'll go on too. Oh, a little resistance. Oh, it's a small hole, that's why. So I'll take another orange one. Orange looks good, there we go. And then I think my dangles, I'm gonna not quite have them that long, so I'm gonna tie my knot, and this will end up being how long I want it to be. So there we go. So there. So we've got that one. And you would just, you know, try your beads. Maybe you can do color coordinated with something that you really like to wear. Some of the cord is different colored than just natural. We have some natural ones and we have some other colored ones. So maybe some of these beads go better with the cord you have than others. So just keep trying and see how many you can get on. It might be a good challenge just to get those beads with the big holes. So I'm going to try to get this knot similar length as the other one. There we go, that's good. And then trim that one off. So there we go. So there's a couple of those. So just continue, get your 4 on, and then when you're sliding it in and out, you know that they won't fall right through. It is your lock of your bracelet. And then when you snug them up, using the hemp cord, it's pretty good. Once you tighten it on your wrist, they stay in place pretty good. So I hope that you guys enjoy this. Know that if you have some other cord or cotton yarn or something like that, you can just keep making bracelets after. Even using embroidery floss would work really well too. So hope you have fun. Good luck. I'd love to see them when they're done.